Hello, thank you for joining me on this tech talk. I'm going to be looking at how to upgrade an existing HID iClass stroke MultiClass SE reader to make it mobile ready. I'm Jim Burton and thank you for watching. Right, so the first thing we need to do is we take our existing iClass or MultiClass SE reader, and this example here is a R10. Okay, and this is an R10 that currently is not mobile ready. Okay, so in the back of the R10 reader, and this reader's obviously been removed from the wall at this point and down powered. So in the back of the reader we have an expansion port, and this expansion port is here, and currently it's covered with a piece of electrical tape. So the first thing we need to do is we need to peel off that piece of electrical tape, and when we peel off that piece of electrical tape we see the expansion port is exposed. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is we take our BLE upgrade kit, and we open the anti-static bag, and in the anti-static bag there's two items. One item is this, and this is the BLE/OSDP module, and the other item is the metallized sticker. So the first thing we're going to deal with is fitting of the module. So we take our reader, and using the expansion port that's been exposed, we now fit this module this way round here. You can see there's a connector at the top which lines up with that connector there, and there's 4 locating holes. So we line it up and we push it home. Okay, make sure it's firmly pushed home. Okay, and that is the module now fitted. Okay, so that's the first part of the process. Okay, the next part of the process that we need to do is we need to go back into our bag and we need to retrieve our metallized sticker. Okay, and the purpose of the metallized sticker is to provide screening from the Bluetooth frequencies essentially. So what we do is we peel off this sticker from the back paper. Okay, we take the sticker and we take this. We take to remove the sticky bits that are stuck all over my fingers. Okay, and then we take the existing back plate. Now this is either in hand or normally screwed to the wall. Okay, and we apply this metallized sticker, this back plate. And you can see the cutouts on the sticker actually line up with the holes and on the back plate. So we just put this on here. Okay, and we press that home. Okay, so there we go. So now I have the metallized screening sticker applied to the back plate. Okay, we can now put the reader effectively back onto the wall. So let's assume we're mounting it onto the wall at this point here. Let's hope if I put it the right way around. Locate it onto the mounting plate, hook the reader back onto the plate, and then bring it home. Okay, and now this reader is effectively mobile ready. So we need to apply power now back to this reader. And when we apply power to the reader, then we need to connect to it using the HID Reader Manager app to see if it requires a firmware update, and also to apply the settings required to make it mobile access ready or mobile access enabled. Okay, so let's move on to the HID Reader Manager app next then, and let's see how we go about achieving what we need to achieve. Okay, so we have our reader now attached back to the wall, and we've applied power. And the next thing we need to do is open the HID Reader Manager app, and once we've logged into the HID Reader Manager app, then we'll come with this screen here. So the first thing we need to do is scan for readers. When we scan for reader, we can see the reader that we've just applied the BLE module to, identifying itself as HID reader. So we select that. And then the next thing we want to do is inspect that reader. So we carry out an inspection of that reader. And as you can see, it says inspecting reader state. Okay, so just wait a few seconds for that to complete, and then we'll see what options we're presented with. Finalising the inspection now. And what it does now, it's presented with a top level look at the reader that we've got. So we can see that the reader has various things. It does have a recommended firmware update. So the Reader Manager has checked that the latest version of firmware available from HID is later than the reader version that's installed. And actually, if we go down the screen, we can see the firmware information. We can see the loaded firmware is version 8.9.1.4, and there's actually a later version which is 8.9.2.1. Okay, and we can also see what this reader actually supports. We can see it's a high frequency. It's an iClass SE reader, and we've seen now, of course, that it has the BLE and OSDP support in there, which has been added from that module that we fitted, showing you earlier. Okay, so let's apply a firmware update, because we're recommended to do one by the app, and it's always good to have the latest firmware available on the reader. Now we're being asked to cycle the power, so let's just do that. Okay, for the reader to power back up and start communication process. Now that power cycle there is basically a validation check to ensure that you have the rights to do what you're about to do. Okay, so as we can see, it's now looking to see how long it's going to take, and it's going to take about it's actually going down very quickly. So a couple of minutes or so to complete this firmware update. So I think we'll leave it doing that, and then we'll resume back once it's finished. Okay, we don't want to sit and watch a firmware update complete, not the most exciting thing in the world. Okay, so the firmware upgrade is now completed, and the reader is just validating that the update has been completed successfully, and now we can see that there is no firmware update offered anymore. Next thing that we need to do, and we can see that the loaded version is the same as the release. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is actually physically configure the mobile reader part. Okay, so this time I'm going to go for detail configuration. See the satellite power once more. Again, need to prove that I am authorized to complete this task. Okay, so this time I'm downloading the template of the reader. So this is how the reader is currently configured. Okay, and we can see there's various options available in here. And the thing that we need to do to make this reader mobile enabled is to apply the mobile encryption key, the customer's keys that are linked to their portal. Okay, and these are issued by HID when the end user onboards for HID mobile access. Okay, so if I wanted to add a key, okay, and then we can see that I've got HID test keys in here, so MOB001, and I want to add that to the template. And then the other thing I can do in here as well, I can adjust settings with regards to the ranges of and enabling things like twist and go and the mobile using your wearable app specific and things like transmit part. I'm going to leave all those as default, which would be the recommended way to start, and only change them if you actually need to when you're actually commissioning the system. So I want to apply those changes. I'm going to apply the MOB0001 mobile key set. Okay, cycle power for one final time. And once this key set has been applied to the reader, then there's no more cycling for power, because the actual key set is used as the validation. Okay, so it'll have MOB0001 embedded in the reader itself. It'll validate that on communication with the reader, and therefore there's no power cycle. And of course then it'll start reading mobile IDs with the same corresponding mobile key as well. Okay, so there we are, we've successfully applied that, and our job here is done. So to recap then, we've gone through the procedure of how to fit the kit, how to fit the metallized sticker to the backplate. We then looked at how we go through the procedure of applying a firmware update to ensure that we're running on the latest firmware from HID. And finally, we added the mobile key set. That means that the mobile reader will now be able to read the credential from the mobile telephone. So really the last thing that we need to do is to test it and make sure that it all works okay. So here's our reader. Here's our reader that we had earlier. This is the one that I fitted the BLE upgrade kit in, and this is the one that I've done the firmware update on. So take mobile telephone, present mobile telephone to reader, and reader reads credential from mobile telephone. There we go. It's as easy as that. And you've now taken your existing MultiClass SE or iClass SE HID reader, which could only read the traditional type of credentials, and made it read the credential from a mobile phone. I hope this has been insightful, and you've enjoyed watching, and we'll catch up again on the next Tech Talk. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.